Welcome back to Neuroconversant Leadership, where we talk about communication and the challenges of communicating with people who are different than we are. It's especially important in a leadership role. I'm Jeremy Doran, and I help great engineers become great leaders. Do you like to plan things and make decisions ahead of time, or do you like to wait and see what new information might come up before making a commitment? Is one better than the other? Let's dig in. This is another episode around the Myers-Briggs MBTI assessment. Looking back, I realized that I covered the first three dimensions on their own, but the last pairing, judging versus perceiving, was only covered as part of the overall explanation in episode 18 with Michael Segovia, which is, by the way, one of my favorite episodes, so go back and listen to that one. And I wonder if I accidentally skipped it because, A, it's more complicated to explain, goes a little bit deeper, integrating other preference pairings, or because it's the one where my score isn't all the way at an end, but I'm right in the middle, and my relationship with this one varies a lot depending on the situation. Either way, it's overdue, so let's dig into it. Judging versus perceiving. Judging is not about being judgmental. It's about coming to a decision or a judgment. And when you come to that judgment, you use both thinking and feeling, which are the T and the F in the third pairing. Now, perceiving is about continuing to take in information, and that's through both sensing and intuition, which are the S and the N in the second pairing. On average, people who prefer judging like to plan things out ahead of time, and they like checking the boxes as they go. They want the closure, so it doesn't need to be constantly on their mind, and it allows them to move on. People who prefer perceiving would rather keep their options open. A plan's nice to have, but it shouldn't be something that boxes you in or limits your options. A personal example around this is vacations. I hate planning vacations. I like to know where I'm going, and I want the major things booked, but that's about it. Planning it out seems like a waste of time to me. Vacations are supposed to be relaxing, and if everything's so regimented when I'm there, it's kind of like work. And why bother going on vacation if it's going to be kind of like work? And exploring's half the fun. What if I make a plan, and God forbid I pay for it ahead of time, and then when we get there, we find that there are actually much better options? We're going to miss out on those good options because we picked something too soon. And that's not for me. So, boo, no thank you. I one time went on a trip to Greece in May. We had airplane tickets, passports, and we each had a suitcase. And that was it. We landed in Athens. We found a travel agent in the airport to book a hotel in Athens where we stayed for 3 days. And when we got to the hotel, we learned about tours that we were interested in, and we took those tours. After a few days, we decided we wanted to go somewhere else, so we went to a different travel agency, and we looked around. We saw the posters on the wall. We saw that iconic one with all the white buildings on the side of a cliff, sparkling blue water, and we said, where's that? And next thing you know, we're getting on a ferry to Ia. It was awesome. For us, it was so much better than if we'd planned the whole thing out, because we got on the ground and we got to explore. And as we explored, we found things that really interested us, gathering information, and then we could pick what we wanted to do. But of course, it could have been a disaster. If we had tried to do that in August, when everyone in Europe goes on vacation, guess how many hotel rooms and tours would have been available to us? It would not have been good. When we were planning it, or not planning it, and just knowing that we were going, I had friends who heard about it, and they were horrified. They would offer to help us. They wanted to find us hotels. They wanted to find us tours. It was so stressful to them that we were going somewhere unplanned that they wanted to help us on their own free time. They would have hated our trip. And when I heard about their trip, they told me all of their plans, and it made me feel claustrophobic. Don't you want spontaneity on your trip? And they were frankly confused by that question. The woman I am dating now is the opposite to me when it comes to travel and personal planning. Luckily for both of us, we understand each other and we make it work. When planning a trip, we'll have some things planned and we'll have scheduled unscheduled time so that I know I'm going to get the freedom to explore and make some decisions at the last minute. She gets the comfort of knowing that some things are already planned out. And when it's not a vacation, we're just planning out our week. Sometimes she'll ask me if it's okay not to decide on what we're going to do Friday until, say, Wednesday. I usually laugh. I'm like, I can live with that because honestly, if we decided on Friday morning, that would have been fine with me as well. When we do have something planned, I know that I need to put it in my calendar because if it gets planned and then it doesn't get done, that causes her a lot of stress. So we both have come to an understanding of what the other person needs, and we work within that framework. Now, this causes a lot of stress sometimes in personal lives, but it also can cause a lot of stress at work. In episode 18, which I mentioned, with Michael Segovia, who is a true expert on the MBTI, he said that this preference pairing of judging and perceiving is where he sees the most conflict in work teams. It's especially true when the team leader has one preference and the people on the team have the opposite. If the team leader prefers judging, then he or she might have, say, a 30-day plan with things that are to be accomplished each day. The perceivers on the team may want to wait and keep their options open just in case. What if on day 15, new information comes in that affects what was supposed to be decided and checked off on day 2? That team leader is going to be really frustrated by the apparent lack of focus and the apparent lack of progress made by the other people on the team. On the flip side, if the team leader prefers perceiving, he or she may know about a project but may not share it right away. And when it is shared, it might only be at a high level that leaves a lot of room for options and interpretation and not too many concrete steps. Those people on the team who prefer judging are going to freak out. They're going to wonder how in the world this project is ever going to get done on time correctly. Organizations and relationships need both preferences to be successful. If it's between two people, if both have the same preference, then very often one of them is going to flex and cover the other tendency. In larger teams, there are usually enough of both that people can just lean into their strengths. As mentioned, there are benefits of each, and they can become clear in different situations. The way I tend to think about it is that people who are judging are more likely to plan things out, and they are less likely to get into tricky situations, which is great, except that sometimes unexpected things come up no matter how much you plan. People who are perceiving are more likely to get into those unexpected situations, but they're also a lot more comfortable and have an easier time navigating them. Again, both skills are crucial at different times. So which one are you? Do you like to plan? Do you like to leave your options open? Does it change depending on the situation? And does it change depending on who you're with? This is one of those differences that can cause challenges in communication and in leading teams. So stay aware of it and communicate with others in a way that they can understand. Thank you so much for listening to Neuroconversant Leadership. If you found this beneficial, can you do me one small favor? It'll be quick, I promise. Can you go and give this podcast a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever it is that you listen before doing anything else? Unless you're driving. If you're driving, then I need you to keep driving. And then when you're done and parked, then go ahead and give me a review. Hopefully 5 stars, but whatever you are comfortable honestly giving. Thank you and have a great day.